What's up guys, it's Wasabi and I'm back with another review. We're gonna dive into some details and features of the product, mention some things that really stand out for me, as well as some things that can be improved. And at the end, hopefully this helps you decide if this is something for you. This video is not sponsored. Someone please sponsor me, please. These thoughts are my own and my experiences with this product. The mouse I'm gonna share about today is the Pulsar X2 Mini. Just to note, this is not the X2 V2 Mini by Pulsar. This is in fact the X2 Mini V1. Now before we go into more details of the mouse, let's take a look at what's included in the box. Opening up the box, you see the Pulsar X2 Mini. Lift up the mouse and oh my gosh, would you look at that? I'll get more into that later. Let's focus on the unboxing. It comes with a USB wireless receiver as well as an adapter. Every brand includes a dongle adapter these days, and Pulsar's adapter looks pretty good, especially with the soft rubber feet. That's a nice touch. It includes a soft braided cable, very nice and bendy, and an instruction manual. After unboxing so many mice over the course of my existence, this has to be one of the biggest efforts I've seen from any company to put in this much effort in an instruction manual, and I really appreciate that. It makes the product and the brand look fun, and making an instruction manual this fun and colorful makes me want to read and dive into the details of what this mouse is about. Nice touch, Pulsar. And it also includes this sticker. So yes, that's everything you can expect from the Pulsar X2 Mini packaging. There you go, nice and packed and all ready to RMA. I'm just kidding. Let's get on with the design. You know, when I first saw the design of this mouse, I thought that this is something a MacBook user would really love. Take a look at how clean this looks. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell that this is a gaming mouse just by looking at its top side. But when you flip it over, that's when you know that this mouse is something pretty special. When I look at the bottom design of this mouse, I just can't help but feel that this is a perfect example of weaving in brand character into a minimalistic design. And you know, when brands try to simplify their product designs by making everything minimalistic, it loses a lot of the brand character. It just feels like it's a product that a brand stuck its name on, not something that they designed themselves and represents the brand identity. The way the cutouts and the design on the PCB just work so well together. Pulsar is a South Korean brand, by the way, and they're a pretty small company, designed and engineered in South Korea, made in China. The design on the PCB, which is this inner board right here, for people who are not familiar with gaming mice, this is a constant identity that they use for all of their gaming mice. And I think this looks so good. If you take a look at a black version, this is a premium black edition, but if you see the black version, it has white text on the black PCB. You can see that the color of the PCB is respective to the mouse colorway with contrasting text. And this is something I noticed that big brands don't do with their mice. Well, if they do it now, they'll just look like they're copying a small brand. So whoever is the designer at Pulsar who thought of this, I think this is a fantastic piece of work. The reference point for this next part of the video, my hand size is 17.5 by 9. So here's what the X2 Mini looks like for the claw, palm, and fingertip grip styles. It felt pretty strange using a palm grip on this mouse. This is a shape and size that I very much enjoy using the claw and fingertip grip because of its flat sides and decent sized hump. It feels rather comfortable holding the mouse with your fingertips. The degree to which the mouse flattens out towards the front end makes it particularly comfortable for the claw grip. Because as most mice shapes tend to be a lot higher up on the front end of the mouse, it can make your hand feel tilted at an angle, and the way that they countered such a thing was to make the front end a lot flatter. And what this does is that it levels out the angle when you do use a claw grip. The hump of the mouse is nothing too crazy. A hump with this curvature gives you a lot of palm support while using the claw grip. So quite naturally, with your hand in this position, it creates a hole right here. And having a hump like this fits into that hole rather nicely. So what happens in the claw grip is that your hand in a way is pulling the mouse into your palm, and this creates a lot of support for my hand. Again, this is a mini size and my hand size is on the smaller end of the scale. This is a hump size that gives my hand a good amount of support with the claw grip, but some people may prefer a much higher hump which gives them a lot more support, which is why Pulsar created the X2H, which is the X2 Mini, but with a lot more hump support. The back end is raised a lot higher and the sides are a lot angular. That is a shape that would be very good for claw grip, but maybe not so comfortable for fingertip grip. While using the fingertip grip, you don't want anything to be bumping into the back end of your hand. You kind of want a free movement in a way. So a mouse with angular sides and high hump, not the best characteristics for the fingertip grip. So with that said, the X2 Mini is a great shape for both fingertip and claw grip styles. It works both ways, and I think gamers appreciate having the versatility of different grip styles in the shape. Now, stated weight of the X2 Mini V1 is 52 grams on both the website and the packaging, but on my scale it shows 53.7 grams. The website did state plus minus 1 gram. Either way, this is a weight difference that is not noticeable while gaming. You know, this is the part of the review that I was not so sure what I was going to talk about, because the coating on this mouse, or lack of it, I don't think there's a coating at all. It feels pretty raw, not gonna lie. It's not horrible. It's not the most horrible grip I've ever had on mouse before. There were some mice that felt a lot worse with a coating. But for this one, a lot of people have been put off because of a lack of coating. And what most people did do is that they got Pulsar's grip tapes, which are known to be very grippy, but some people hate it. So what Pulsar did realize is that a lot of people hated the lack of grip from this coating. And what they did was that they released special editions to test out new coatings of the mouse. For example, this is Pulsar's X2 Mini Premium Black Edition. This is not the V2, this is an edition before the V2s came out. And this is one of the first, or might be the second, I think the Bruce Lee edition was the first. But yeah, this is one of the first X2 Minis to have a grippy coating. I would go as far as to say that this mouse was a beta testing for their new coating. But anyway, the new grippy coating is on all of their new models. On the X2 V2, on the X2H, on the new X Lite V3. Yeah, the X Lite V3. All of their new mice have the new coating. So if coating is a very important thing for you when it comes to a mouse, I would not recommend to get the X2 V1. But then again, you can use it with grip tapes. If that's not an issue for you, go get the grip tapes, get this mouse on sale. It's a good combination. For me, with this mouse, I didn't get the grip tapes. I just used it as a regular day-to-day mouse with some occasional gaming on it. And it's been performing pretty well. With this version of the X2 Mini, you get the Kill GM8 switches on them. Now, these are mechanical switches for casual gamers out there. They feel alright, they're quite light to press. These are rather crispy and clicky switches. I think they're okay. They're alright. I think I prefer the switches on my Premium Black Edition. Premium Black Edition does have mechanical switches. They use the Huano's Blue Shell Pink Dot switches, if I'm not wrong. Let me check. Huano Blue Shell Pink Dot switches. Now these, from what I can hear and feel, yeah, the kills feel a lot lighter. So these side buttons, yeah, they feel alright. You know, when I say something is alright, it really means that it's average. There's nothing super impressive, but nothing that should ruin your experience. They do have a nice click to them though, but I wouldn't say that these are mushy. I'd say these are okay. Nothing to complain about for me. If I were to nitpick and call something out, I would say that these side buttons are rather small. I know that this is a mini, but could they do large side buttons on the mini size? I think that would be a pretty sick combination for gaming. The scroll wheel on the X2 Mini, they have a very distinct feel between each steps. It's easy to tell and have a good sense of feedback. This is something that a lot of gamers will appreciate, but the only thing I noticed is that this scroll wheel in particular it's pretty loud, especially for a mouse of this size. This is a scroll wheel design that you'll see on a lot of gaming mice out there. No complaints on the design because this pattern on the scroll wheel gives a lot of grip, which I do like. In this version of the X2 Mini, you can find the POR 3395 sensor. This is a great sensor that you probably can find on a lot of modern day gaming mice. You can go up to 26,000 DPI and toggle motion sync on or off. Pulsar's motion sync technology basically synchronizes the sensor to the same rate that your PC extracts information. However, this is something that creates motion delay. Nothing that I notice in gameplay, so I wouldn't worry about it. You can leave it on if it makes you feel better, you can switch it off if it doesn't. Motion sync is a feature that is exclusive to Pulsar imaging sensors, so any sensor that you find that has motion sync pretty much comes from this company. Pulsar's Fusion software is pretty simple to use. You would probably be familiar with the interface if you're familiar using mice from smaller brands. Because the interface is simple and straightforward, software doesn't require a lot of processing power. And that is something that a lot of people like. On the second tab, you can program different actions for each button. You can toggle motion sync on and off. I've never really noticed a difference while using it on or off. Because this is a mechanical mouse, debounce delay can be configured on the software. DPI is adjustable up to 26,000. You can access up to 4 different DPI profile settings on the dedicated DPI button under the mouse. Polling rate and lift-off distance is adjustable. And you can even program macro keys if that is something that you use for your gaming. As always, with every product that you buy, don't forget to update the firmware. This would probably fix a whole lot of issues that you will potentially experience. If there are issues after the firmware update, then this is where you reach out to the company. Highest pulling rate for this version of the X2 Mini is 1000 Hz with the included dongle. Pulsar does sell a 4K dongle, but it's not compatible with this version of the mouse. So across Pulsar's current lineup, the 4K dongle is only compatible with the X2 V2s, the X2H, the X2 ambidextrous model, the X-Lite V3s, and the X-Lite V3 ES. Oh, and all sizes for all mice that were mentioned. The sensor placement of this mouse is pretty much smack in the middle of the design. My grip on the mouse, the sensor does fall off a little behind my thumb. This is just a personal preference and it's not too far off. So, however, if the sensor is further off, I would probably not use the mouse at all. Going back to the previous point on 4K dongles and high polling rates, I've always felt kinda neutral on the high polling rate race. All brands just rushing for 4000 Hz, 8000 Hz. Honestly, and this is my personal opinion, but it feels like a very potent mix of placebo and hopium. But you know, as someone who's into tech, these are things that I would like to try and find out for myself. But you know what's not placebo? Your health. Don't forget to have your meals between long gaming sessions and maybe get some vitamins, I don't know. For me, I eat some fish oil and have some vitamin C. And this keeps me healthy and enjoying my gaming sessions, enjoying everything in general. So what I'm trying to say is that you can enjoy gaming, enjoy anything really, but don't forget to stay healthy. So the battery life of this X2 Mini goes up to 70 hours at 1000 Hz polling rate. Right now it's blinking red. This is a low battery indicator, so yeah, it's about time for me to charge my X2 Mini. The skates on this version of the X2 Mini are they're okay. They do take some time to break in. I think that if you give them a chance, they will smoothen out quite a bit, but it does take some time. So what most people would do is they would just go ahead and buy aftermarket skates. That is up to you. If you want a smoother experience with this mouse, then yes, you can get some Tiger Ice skates or core pads, up to you. Personally, I'm pretty fine with these skates. I have no issues with them. They're pretty good. They're not the best, but they work well. So in conclusion, here are some things that I do like about this mouse. The build quality of this mouse is amazing. It's pretty difficult to show you how well built this mouse is on camera, but trust me, when you have your hand on this mouse, you'd be surprised that a mouse of this weight can feel this solid in the hand. Having a dedicated DPI button and an on and off switch, these are very convenient. I like on and off switches because you don't have to press and hold and wait for the mouse to switch on. Good to have for convenience. I like the X2 in this mini size. I think the design of the X2 in this mini form factor, it works out so well. It's a really nice mouse. The size is good to hold, and at 52 grams, it feels rather nimble in the hand. So what are some things I feel can be improved with this version of the X2 Mini. You see, the new version of this mouse has already been released, the X2 Mini V2. And in that version, most of the issues has already been addressed and updated. So the first thing I was gonna say is the coding needs an improvement, which they already did improve in the V2. The second thing I was going to mention is the scroll wheel, but they did do an update on the construction of the scroll wheel in the mouse. So yeah, the scroll wheel may or may not have been improved. I'm not sure. I've not had the pleasure of experiencing the X2 V2 yet. As a reviewer, I want to be completely honest with my experiences and my opinions on the products. The new version of the X2 has been very well received by the community. That version, they already done a whole lot of updates on what was already a very good mouse, because the new version has already addressed everything, and this version of the mouse is already pretty good. So yes, would I recommend to get the version 1 of the X2 Mini? The only reason I can imagine anyone wanting the first version of the mouse is that it uses mechanical switches, because some people prefer the feel of mechanical switches over optical switches. Other than that, I can't see much benefit to using the first version of the mouse. If you go on Pulsar's website, you can see that the price difference between this version and the V2 is not much different. This version of the X2 Mini was going for $94.95, and the new version, the X2 Mini V2, is going for $99.95. You can see that Pulsar did gamers a real solid by not bumping up the price by like another $20-$30, which I think is fantastic. And the price difference between this and its newer version, I can't see a reason why anyone would pick this. A bit of a side note here, Pulsar just recently released two versions of their ergonomic mouse, the X-Lite V3 in medium size and the X-Lite V3 Esports edition. And I don't know if it's just me, but the X-Lite V3s look amazing on the website. And another thing on top of that is that they're going to be releasing another two sizes. So they've just released the medium size, they're going to release a large and a mini size. Something that a lot of people are very careful with when it comes to Pulsar's new releases is that most people avoid buying a day one launch from Pulsar. And that is because they have a reputation of QC issues at launch. This is something that I hope Pulsar will fix, and I'm sure they will. Honestly, to me, Pulsar comes off as such an interesting brand. I love the design of their products. The way that they represent their products is very professional. And if you can, just take a quick look at their website and you'll see what I mean. Everything's so well presented. And you just want to keep looking at their products. Even though they all look very simple, you just want to keep looking at it. Love the direction that Pulsar is going with their brand and their products. This is a brand I will continue to support as long as they fix their quality control issues. And if you just got the version 1 of the X2 Mini, is there a need to change? I don't think there is. I've been enjoying my unit for a very long time now. This is actually one of the first mice I got earlier this year, and it's been a wonderful mouse. So if you find this version on 50% off and you are curious about Pulsar products, you should very well give it a try. So yes, these are some of my thoughts and experiences with the X2 Mini version 1. Let me know in the comments below, is Pulsar a brand that you personally enjoy or you're very curious about? I think they did a pretty good job with their branding and their products. Just QC issues are the biggest killer for them. Oh, and by the way, if you find that this video is a little different from how I normally make my review videos, it's because with every video I make, I'm trying to improve the content as much as I can. I'm gonna shorten my intros because I felt those were pretty long. But you know, those were my first few videos. I thought it would be a little funny. I've only started 3 weeks ago. Quite a few people have mentioned that this channel is growing quite rapidly, and it's all thanks to you guys. So day by day, as more people continue to support, I will do my best to continue to improve. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Okay, I'm gonna continue on working on more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks!